Okay.
All right, good morning. I would like to call the operations committee meeting to order.
Excuse me.
Is there any pecuniary interest?
None, no.
I got none. Sorry about that. Cost
Sorry.
of a,
No, I gotta get a bottle of water.
we have no delegations.
Thanks so much.
Our prior meeting minutes have been circulated and approved at our last council meeting. And ongoing tasks. I did see a task sheet in there this time.
Open it here.
There seemed to be a few ongoing, but I saw a few that were marked green, which means completed.
That's correct, yeah. So do you want to go through them one by one, or is it just anything you have questions on?
No, I read through them. Is there anything that we need to discuss on all of the tasks?
I don't believe so. I've also printed them off. I updated everything I possibly could in regards to current details.
Yeah.
There will be some further information that comes in the next month or so in terms of some reporting that's there. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great, we can receive and file that. And no correspondence. Health and safety inspection sheet for the arena. Everything looked good on that and looked at it before.
Yeah.
Great, we can receive and file that one. And the Public Works, Health and Safety, I apologize if I'm moving too fast.
We're with you.
All right. Moving too fast for myself. And that one looked good as well.
Mhm.
Okay, we can receive and file that one. And we will move on to new business. First item is our arena monthly report. If Eric Lucas would like to come up and lead us through that.
Excuse me.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is the monthly report for February for the arena. Blue Water Power Distribution was in on February 3rd to install a power line meter on the main distribution line into the arena. The meter will analyze the incoming hydro to see if we have any dirty power coming into the facility affecting sensitive electronics.
So what's dirty power?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Like
for
spikes in
clarification,
voltage, amps. It's not consistent.
anything that would create a power surge.
Essentially, yes, or the other way too, go the other way, not enough power.
Like dirty meeting unstable?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, very unstable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. I have my idea
Yeah.
what I think it
Yeah.
means, but I thought it was worth
Yes.
asking.
Being a three-phase system, if everything isn't in phase, there could be an issue. If phase A is below a certain rate, phase B is above a certain rate, you will have different.
What you saying?
variations in the voltage, which could cause electrical.
Okay.
And over the course of the last few years, we've seen a few different things fail, amps, lights. We're just analyzing to see where we're at.
Awesome. Thank you for the explanation.
No problem. On February 6th, we received a phone call from the Point Ward Optimist Club saying they had no water at Community Hall. After looking into the matter, it was determined the main water line into the building had frozen. Temporary water line was run from the arena and portable washrooms were delivered outside the main doors until a more permanent repair could be completed. Quotes were requested from multiple companies. As previously mentioned at last committee meeting, we received an update from the Point Edward Skating Club in regard to the 2026-27 season and their intention of applying for a Skate Ontario competition. That application has been submitted. A meeting was held with age-friendly Sarnia Lambton Committee to discuss setup plans and overall coordination for their upcoming event in May. Wellmar Recreation Products delivered 3 pieces of rink glass on February 12th. Included in the delivery was the custom timekeepers piece. Point Edward Skating Club hosted their annual pop culture show, that should be a pop concert show, sorry. On the evening of February 12th, the show was very well attended and extremely popular with all the participants. Black and Mac were in on February 13th to complete the installation of a permanent water line from one of the arena's main feeds to the community hall. The work was completed in a very timely manner with minimal impact on arena operations. On Family Day, February 16th, we had a fire alarm at the community hall caused by a fog machine during a kids' K-pop event. While investigating the alarm, it was determined no Optimus members were present at the event. Rick McGregor was contacted and the alarm silenced and eventually reset once the building was aired out and fog dissipated. Mike Mistoli was also informed of the incident and may have more to add.
Further to that,
Please come up so everybody can
absolutely, no, happily.
see you and hear you.
Sit right there.
Oh, that'll be cozy.
Yes. Thank you. No, I was informed. Derek had let me know exactly what was happening. I spoke to both Rick and Derek at that time. I then contacted Rob over at the Optimist just to identify what the potential gap in service was. He was surprised to know that no one from the Optimist was on site. He's then since taken it to his monthly board meeting to make sure that it is understood that they have to have some presence on site every time there's an event that happens at that location. So that's been followed up by.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I don't think I've never been there where they didn't have coverage, so.
It's been identified the last few events.
Okay.
One of the major events that we had last year there was no one from
Okay.
the Optimist there. Now, whether that was a scheduling error on there,
Yeah.
we're not sure. We're just bringing it to their attention, indicating that the village requires our facility to be supported in that way from their group.
Especially when something happened,
Correct.
yeah.
That was a request from the Friendly Expo committee too. That was something they noticed last year.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it's been brought to their attention and they have committed to us that there will be somebody on site for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, lunchroom water cooler had its annual service filters and sanitizing completed by Primo. Received a request from Shelley Archer to black out Thursday, June 25th on the arena calendar for the village's annual Canada Day celebration. The arena would be used as a backup venue in case of inclement weather. On February 23rd, Mike Mistoli and I made the trek to Resurf Corporation in Elmira, Ontario to spec out a new Olympia ice resurfacer and get some blades sharpened. We are awaiting some final pricing before an order can be completed. Wait time may be up to 1 year for the machine to be delivered.
Wow.
Blue Water Power Distribution was in on February 25th to remove the power line meter from the main hydro feed at arena. We are waiting for any information that was gathered. Work management, we have the 3 full-time employees, 1 seasonal and 2 skate patrols. Employee training, all employees completed ergonomics and material handling training online. Employees are also in the process of completing WMIS training online. For the facility activity, we were 91% booked on prime time and 75% booked on non-prime time. Factors that may be affecting the totals were Super Bowl, we had a lot of cancellations, Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, the men's league canceled.
I'm
Hilarious.
shocked.
And the Olympic gold medal game obviously was another one.
Yeah,
We had multiple weather-related cancellations as well in minor hockey, and playoffs have begun in some leagues. Some ice will start to be returned as teams get eliminated. Interior, regular maintenance, cleaning continue daily. Exterior, general maintenance around the building. Once again, plenty of snow, weather-related events during the month of February. Once again, thank you to the Public Works Department for their timely snow removal and maintenance of the parking lot. Community Hall, Point of Optimus continued to manage the community hall, and as mentioned earlier, we had the fire alarm on February 16th. Red & Co. continued to operate the snack bar, inspections, monthly fire extinguishers, AED completed, monthly generator tests completed on February 19th, looking into annual inspection on that. Orkin Pest Control in for monthly inspection, no issues reported, and Jutsi Water Technologies are in to evaluate the condenser water and calibrate the chemical controller. In venue advertising, nothing to report. Vehicles and equipment, Public Works pickup truck is still stationed at the arena, and we had a new board brush installed on the Olympia. Customer satisfaction, lots of positive comments from Winter Ice clients as the season winds down. Many groups thanking staff for another wonderful year at the arena. Health and safety, monthly SOP reviews as assigned by health and safety coordinator were completed. Security, nothing to report. Capital and operating budget, planning for completion of 2026 capital projects items have begun and awaiting updated pricing. Closing comments. February was another busy month at the arena. Point Edward Minor Hockey concluded the regular season play and began round 1 of the playoffs, which is sure to be a hectic time for all involved. All teams will complete their first round series by mid-March and start their second round series after March break. Some of the men's leagues teams have also started playoffs, with most leagues ending late March and early April. Point Edward Skating Club continued with their programming throughout the month and have started planning for the year-end carnival scheduled for April 11th and 12th. On the maintenance side, we had a few minor repairs taken care of, along with the repair to the frozen water line at the community hall. Looking ahead to March, our final full month of rentals for the winter season, we anticipate a busy month with the Point Edward Minor Hockey playoffs in full swing and the U7 Jamboree Battle Under the
This is
Bridges scheduled for
Saturday, I said Saturday.
March 22nd. Planning will continue for the Point Edward Skating Club's annual carnival. We will also be in contact with the committees of our other big events this spring, summer, the Sarnia Pop Culture Show, Age Friendly Sarnia Lambton Expo, and the Sarnia Quilters Guild. Scheduling will also continue for our spring, summer user groups. It appears that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm glad to help.
Any questions?
Yes, sorry, call it Zamboni, the Olympia. You said it's a year delivery, so would you be ordering it in the near future?
We're hoping to get pricing soon. It was just with tariffs and
Yeah, uncertainty.
businesses, so. And then we had a couple changed out the batteries from water lead acid to gel. And then he was gonna factor in whether we needed a new charger or we could use the existing one we have, which would save some money, hopefully.
Would we pay a deposit or we have to pay the whole thing at the order time?
It hasn't been defined as
Okay.
from Olympia yet, but the idea will be, once that comes in, we'll speak to both the CEO and the treasurer, identify what it's ever necessary, sign off that. We'll work with whatever they need.
I was just thinking about the fire truck. We don't pay for it till we get it delivered.
Right,
So is it like that?
well.
Cause then it'll be next year. We have to pay for it, not this
Right.
year.
It was, I did inform the treasurer
Okay.
already that this
Okay.
was a potential, that we'd have to potentially carry this over till next year.
Just an aside, I was reading about this neighborhood in Nova Scotia that built an outdoor skating rink, and every year they add to it and it's got boards and everything. This year they bought an Olympia. The families contributed, they got it for $10,000.
Ooh, must have been a used one.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
The city of Brampton just opened up a couple of NHL size outdoor rinks
Oh,
and full service outdoor rinks.
Olympia has minis. They're half the size of a regular one. They were originally used at Winter Classic when they added a machine.
I just have a couple of questions, and I know some of the stuff is a work in progress, and I'll direct it to both of you. With the family day triggered my mind, and we were talking about maybe doing a re-evaluation of holiday ice and holiday rentals. Have you gotten any further on that?
might as well just stay.
I'm snuggling in. Thank you. We did continue to look at this, as well as I've done some financial numbers in
Mhm.
regards to what that would look like. I can bring it forward to.
Yeah, there's no rush. I
Yeah.
just, when that just kind of triggered my mind, and I know I'd spoke to Derek about it as well, just the cost effectiveness of having people working on holidays. And if we kind of looked into that to see if it's beneficial for us and the people who are using the ice.
Definitely. I'll run the review by Derek, so we can just confirm that the staffing is equal to the potential increase in revenue with, cost recovery with the revenue, cost recovery for
Yeah.
the arena at that point.
And then I had a question about the advertising within the arena. And I thought I read something where there hasn't been as much communication with the original group that thought they might be able to help with it.
So that was Jake Burry.
Yeah.
Sarnia Sting. So when we did meet with him, he mentioned that he would have to go to, he was working on Sarnia for Clearwater Arena first.
Mhm.
Then we would be transitioning, piggybacking off that. If he could work something, he goes, he had to get the okay from Sarnia or buy-in from Sarnia for their other arenas other than PASA.
right now would be a good time to reach back out to, we can certainly
Yeah.
reinitialize that conversation with this thing's schedule winding down for the year and as our schedules are starting to wind down.
Well, the reason that it popped into my head, I was wondering, because I thought we had mentioned something about the Pacers wanting to do some help with the advertising or a share. Did that go anywhere? Because I know they have some new people working.
Yeah, they have a
on
new
this year.
person, Jamie. He did come into the arena. He was more interested in just stuff for the Pacers, not
Okay,
involving Village Point Network. So I said that he would have to present that to us, or at least send a letter or something, but that doesn't help our advertising.
no, and that's again, with the timing of them preparing to move into our facility, I was curious if that had
Yeah.
presented
No,
itself.
I haven't
again.
heard anything. This Jamie guy showed up, might have been early January, and that's the last I've seen him.
Okay. And then a compliment, thank you for filling those empty ice slots on Saturdays. I'm always double checking our calendar
Yeah.
to see, because I've noticed this year, a lot of the Point Edward minor hockey teams are away on Saturdays. I think last Saturday, they had zero ice booked on a Saturday for our
I
own
think,
minor
this
hockey.
Saturday is gonna be the end up.
And this Saturday, they're away, the whole organization for a tournament except one team. And I noticed there was an hour of ice open on Thursday. Have you filled that already?
No,
Okay.
no.
But I appreciate you guys filling those.
Yeah,
I'm trying
I mean,
to
and
walk
it's
on
winding
Saturday.
down, it's tougher now too, because teams are eliminated now, right? Even some Sarnia teams, so.
Well, I've, I follow that closely as well, and I have saw that there's quite a few teams that are done for
Yeah,
the
and
season.
if we had
already.
ice into May, I could have sold a whole bunch, because
Yeah.
Linda Lozon is scrambling for ice.
Yeah, and this time of year, anybody who's scheduling ice for any minor hockey association, my heart goes out to them, because it is such a scramble as teams get eliminated or extend a series and all those things. It's a
Yes.
very, very difficult job, and I always have the utmost respect for people who do that. And then you guys being able to help with that is
Yes, I have some
huge.
good contacts, so.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you. We received and filed the Arena monthly report.
I mean, by the time we meet at our next meeting, it's over.
Yeah, that's over. Yeah.
Like-
But actually, I think the next, I'm taking ice out.
The 14th,
Mhm.
April 14th, so
I'll read it for you.
Yeah,
there's a team.
That's right.
as long as you trust me.
Yeah. Hey, we need to do a trust exercise.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. I think I've already said this before, but I wasn't sure. Red and Co sold gift certificates this year for the arena booth. Yeah, for the concession, because the fries are such a hit that they're $5. So they were sold gift certificates, and all these families bought gift certificates for fries at hockey. I thought that was a cool idea.
I know East Lambton minor hockey had a program, because if you got multiple kids playing and there's, the volunteer base that they use, they had gift cards for the concessions in Watford and Alvinston as a, hey, thank you for helping us with this. And the
Yeah.
parents would give it to the kids, because if they were
Yeah.
on the ice and then you got multiple siblings, here,
Yeah,
grab something.
But the first time I ever saw it, and I know my grandkids got them for Christmas
Mhm.
and used them, so I thought that was a really cool idea. But you could take it farther by giving them out for rewards.
No, it was great, because I was,
Yeah.
writing something out there, and the kid had it on the bench beside me. I'm like, what's this? And it was a gift
Yeah.
certificate to either one of the food concessions. And it had the Eagles logo on it, and thank you for your volunteer or whatever. And kid shooting pucks for me for an hour, and then he's on the ice an hour later.
Mhm.
So he's hanging around the rink, and it gave him a chance to get food without his parents needing to take him home and feed him.
Yeah.
It was a cool idea.
Have you had their fries?
I have.
Yeah.
I'm in both those locations quite often, so yeah. Yes, I certainly have. It's too bad they didn't bring the fries on the bench instead of the gift card.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just thought, I meant to say that earlier.
Okay. Well. All right.
Proceed, please.
Thank you. So I've got the monthly report for Public Works ending the month of February, so. As there's no updates of any previous month. The work management is still the same. We have 4 full-time equivalents. Employee training, we did the 3 that were mentioned, material handling, health and safety responsibilities policy, and fuel safety, which were all completed by staff. Operations building on the interior, main ceiling lights were addressed throughout the inside of the main public works building as there were many bulbs burnt out. So it just added a little bit more brightness into that space. It'd been a minute since that had happened. Exterior, no reports. And then inspections, we had the monthly ORCN inspection and the monthly fire inspections that occurred, fire extinguisher inspections. From road, sidewalks, and parking lots, multiple salt deliveries continued through the month. With the colder temperatures at the beginning of the month, pre-salting of the roads prior to the snow events really assisted with the road safety and the walking sidewalk transit that was occurring. Public Works assisted with all hands on deck during a major water main break on Front and Simpson, one on Front and one on Simpson on the same day. Team supported the environmental services with the use of heavy equipment removing roadway debris and assisting with the repair. This support continued as warm weather caused further sinking in the patches. So there was a patch on Front where the Public Works guys were monitoring it and then patching as necessary just to make sure that the roadway was still safe. Salt bins again were refilled through the village. Multiple snow events and freezing conditions, high wind, drifting caused a lot of snow throughout February, requiring the Public Works team to remain active and flexible, specifically during some overnight operations where we saw a lot of activity. Near the end of the month, significant warming occurred. Public Works team shifted priorities to start cleaning catch basins and making sure that water efficiency are efficiently moved into the storm sewer systems and reduce any flooding risks as well. We were keeping an eye on any catch basins that may have lifted or sunk during that time frame, which again is sometimes some commonplace that we'll see. Sidewalk pathways clearing was an ongoing activity throughout the month, and then several road patches did occur through the different roadways in the village. Park and public spaces. Public Works continued diligent garbage removal and debris pickup in all the major parks and throughout the village. As snow started to melt, then you saw the additional debris that became visible, and the team continued to do the cleanup efforts. Public Works began preparing for the spring capital activities. Example, the benches, so replacement of the benches. They did purchase a number of pieces of equipment and product that they've already started to trim, cut, and get ready for the replacement once the weather does turn to the availability to do so without having the possibility of freezing and rain and everything else. Public Works, again, I did have a team meeting with them, and this is something that's we're looking at doing a little bit more often, just to identify some more spring tasks and get our next month in play. They do it very well internally. It's just nice to understand where we are and some of the priorities that come from these meetings that I can then bring forward. And it's gone very well. I'm happy to see it. And again, it just allowed to increase traffic from visitors and residents. And then we assisted with the loading of the tanks at the hatchery to support springtime activities over there. So the team was all over it this month. Audits, inspection reports, nothing to report. Vehicles, the Kubota underwent some repairs, new back tires, new blade. This tractor is the primary snow removal and pathway salting vehicle. The repairs were critical and they did need to happen so that we could continue to have quick and efficient use of the piece of equipment. The Coyote tractor was used extensively through February just to be able to clear some pathways and sidewalks. Performance review of the equipment is undergoing with the potential recommendations for next year, and I'll bring that up in when I bring my salt and my snow and sidewalk report for council. The village main operations, pickup just had to get 4 replacement tires that were due to age. They'd seen their time, and then all the other vehicles were operating normally. No other details to report in terms of equipment and tools. Health and safety, the inspections occurred as they were too. Safety, there's security, nothing. Community feedback, didn't hear anything this month, which news is good news, so it's a good thing. Looking for warmer weather expected in March, as we're seeing now, allows continual preparation and activity in terms of spring projects for the village. Closing comments, the Public Works team, continue to work seamlessly, supporting other departments or activities such as the water main break, assisting the arena, as Derek had brought up with the glass removal on short notice. The pride that this team and the entire village staff take in working to maintain the high standards and safety and service for the residents and the visitors is always, it's come to be expected, and it's very much appreciated. And they do a good job in terms of the team, all departments, which is, I'm really proud to say that I like that. Any questions?
I
Go ahead.
have a question around Front Street
Mhm.
and that patch job
Yes.
from the water, like. What's the plan going forward to fix that rough road?
We're kind of in a transition
No, it's
point right
hard.
now. It is difficult because the thaw hasn't completely
Yeah.
occurred. As thaw happens, that will continue to sink. We will continue to monitor and patch accordingly.
Okay,
We have met with the county because it is a county road to identify
forgot.
what the necessities are. So we're gonna
Yeah.
have a better understanding of what that looks like. We did have an initial meeting on specific county projects that will happen within the village. But that will,
totally forgot it's their
Yeah.
road, so.
so it's a hand in hand with them. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
okay.
continue to monitor, make sure it's safe transit until we can properly repair it.
The other question I had was, when we met with the bridge last week, we got into a conversation about salt. And talking about, some places are mixing it with sand
Mhm.
because of the shortage and the cost.
I had brought up the aspect of sand in our team meeting with a number of the long-term employees over there, and they had mentioned that sand in this area through our catch basin systems is very challenging.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things they've pulled back from as much as possible. If it came down to it, we were unable to
Sure.
get salt, yes, sand
But-
would have been.
I don't think we have to worry about it now until down another time.
Yes,
But it was
and
just a conversation about making it last
yes.
with the shortages.
Our team did a good job in terms of monitoring how much salt that we actually had and then distributing it accordingly, that they wouldn't put it on too heavy as necessary. As well, we do have a salt contract that all the communities that want to buy in with the county, so we do get some preferred pricing that way.
So how much are we gonna leave in the bin? Like some years, like we've counted on. You know, we left this much in the bin as we started a new year, so we had cut costs because we had like a full bin to start.
And we have done that so far.
Okay.
There is a significant amount in there.
Okay.
Not only to support the end of the year, we're hoping, knock
Well,
on wood, that we're not gonna run into
like-
any more issues,
Like I'm
but
sounding like it's never gonna happen.
yes, there
Yeah,
is, we do have.
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Just again, great job by our crews with the snow removal. Like this was a heavy winter one we haven't seen in a few years, so again, thanks to the work they did. Also want to shout out the water guys
Mhm.
and you guys working together, but it's one of those jobs that, you know, people come to the arena and they like watching the Zamboni drive around, and that's a cool thing, right? And sometimes our water and public works guys are in a deep, dark, cold hole trying to fix water on a very cold day in the middle of the night, and that's very much appreciated.
Yes, like, yeah, knee deep at 5 in, I felt with Kim was
Yeah.
just absolutely working hard out there to be able to support that. And then I know our guys jumped in as quickly as they could to help that, so it was.
Yeah, that's a good point, because
Mhm.
when I'm at the arena, the young kids, they go, Frank, or, yeah, Daniel, like they yell at the Zamboni guy as he goes around. So they get recognition
Mm.
where others don't, so it is a good point.
Thank you, I guess appreciate it.
Do you have, or have you put more time into the snow removal information? I know we had tabled it from our last meeting. Do you have anything that
So I've spoken to the CAO. I've got a due date of the 13th to be able to provide a number of details, and I have a vast bit of information I might need to pare down a little bit, but yes, the idea is to hopefully bring it to the council meeting this coming council. I can provide it to you as quickly as I'm completed it, though. That's not a problem.
Have we had any communication with any of the businesses as far as the sidewalks that were installed there?
No, I don't believe so.
No, I've nobody that's All the new sidewalks, I have not heard from any of the businesses individually. Nobody's spoken to me directly.
And I realize that we're, should be past, heavy snow, but it's one of those things, going into next year, it'd be good to get ahead of it, just to
Absolutely.
have that conversation.
I think
I do agree.
I might be wrong, but I think that's fallout from when Mike does his report.
Mm.
Is talking about businesses and sidewalks.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
The plan is to bring 3 specific options
Yeah.
forward from that. The report will identify where we currently stand with all the details and then the potential options that we could look at to move either.
Okay. Good, thank you. I appreciate your detailed report. We can receive and file that. And you can carry on with speed analysis.
All right. Thank you very much. So the speed analysis for February with the overall dashboards. Again, the 3 locations that we look at are Michigan Front and St. Clair. Nothing's really changed in terms of the discussions. Everything is the same. It's the overall dashboard. We're using the new format that gives just a little bit clearer vision of what it actually looks like. So with Front Street incoming traffic again, which is northbound, the average speeds were about 48.2, a little bit quicker than the previous month. Average traffic volumes, about 1,200 vehicles per day. That was lower, and this is again a trend that we have seen over the last couple of years, as well as the traffic that conforms to the speed is 68%, which again is a little higher than last month. And the excessive speeds about 3.8 again, which is lower. So these trends are what we have seen definitely within the last couple of years. Nothing egregious has come out of that. Southbound traffic again is quite a bit higher in terms of the volumes and where the speeds themselves were slower than they were previously with about 2,000 vehicles a day. Conforming speeds 62%, which is higher, and then the excessive speeds which were 4.6%, which are higher as well. So going down to the individual charts, you'll be able to kind of just see where everything happens on an hour-to-hour basis in our traffic. You can see that outgoing traffic in the morning, very common, follows that trend, and then incoming traffic in the afternoon seems to be the details with all the individual speeds that are broken out there. Moving on to Michigan, again, 45.4, which is a little bit quicker than last month. Average vehicle traffic this is westbound incoming traffic into the village, 2,200 vehicles a day. Again, we start to see this next month. We should start to see a rise. It's in the common aspect. 75% conforming to speed, which is just again a little bit lower, and then excessive speed a little bit higher. Again, as volumes drop, speeds rise. That's kind of the correlation that we've seen over the last little bit. Heading outbound, eastbound, again 45.6, a little bit quicker. But again, pretty much the same number of traffic as about 2,400 vehicles a day, a little bit lower. Almost 70% conforming to the speed, and then 3.7 in terms of the excessive speed. Again, these numbers are basically cut and paste from the last couple of years that we've been reviewing this. So, and then St. Clair Street, we're starting to see some trends now that we've got a few months worth of data. So the incoming traffic northbound is the average speeds are about 47.5, so that is a little bit quicker than last month. Average traffic volume about 700 a day, which is lower. It's about 75% conforming to the speed, which is lower than last month. It has just tracked down a little bit. In excess of speeds of 2.1 is a little bit higher. Again, if we lock the trends that we see on Front Street, Michigan Street, it does kind of, it's very similar. Nothing seems out of place there. Outgoing traffic, 45.6. So as they're coming southbound, it is slower. It's faster than previous month, but it's definitely slower than going in. Average traffic volume, about 600 a day, 63% conforming to the speed, and 3.3 in terms of excessive speed, which is higher. So, and all those details, like I say, it's nice to be able to see some trend analysis that we can start to see in St. Clair. Nothing is shocking. Everything seems to be what we've seen before. Nothing's trending drastically in one way versus another. So,
and it's nice to see that the traffic volumes are significantly lower
Yes.
than the other 2 streets that we're tracking traffic on.
absolutely.
I think some people shifted over there through the, you change your habit,
Mhm.
but through the construction
Mhm.
and never moved back. The volume went to Front Street.
I agree. I think the measures that we put in terms of the speed, restriction, but, the bump out
Mhm.
and the tighter corner
Mhm.
around there has probably drifted traffic away from that. It's become more of a local route, which is. good to
Yeah.
see.
But I still don't know why people would say it's still a speed lane, because I don't see it at all.
Yeah, the data is certainly not supporting that. But again, it's
Yeah.
still early days, so I
Yeah.
think if we continue to monitor and
What
track it,
happened
we,
during summer.
that's right, that's right. We might see some trends change as.
Yeah, I'd like to see us continue to track this, especially once we get the pave
Mhm.
finished. That might change.
Agreed.
People like
Like-
fresh asphalt to drive a little bit faster on, I think.
That's not
Um,
until the fall, so.
Yeah, so
Wait.
I would like to keep that.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
have any other streets that anybody has brought to your attention that if we were to move or add another device somewhere?
I've had no one directly speak to me about removing anything. I mean, Venetian but we've tracked that. We could always go back to tracking that. Nothing else within the. Not recently. I mean, they did, a lot of people did speak about Louisa, but we did put the four-way stop there, so that I think has quelled a lot of those,
And the
right?
same four-way stop.
Exactly. So it's, nothing specific. I have looked at streets such as Victoria, but that's more on about, talk to the CAO in terms of a change of traffic patterns and parking and such, but nothing has.
Yeah, I'd say Victoria, there does seem to be some speeds between Alfred and Livingston, because that's the only stop sign and I live there. So
Mhm.
I see people hit that stop sign and often accelerate. I saw one last night that was quite fast because there's no other stop signs on Victoria to slow anybody down until you get to the end.
Mhm.
So
That would be the only other one that I would.
and I was thinking again, my street, but Alfred, because of the summertime, there's a lot of volume. It's a 40-kilometer-hour road. And be interesting to see what some of the volumes are. And again, sharing some of that with the OPP so they could target some enforcement if they had an idea of when the volumes were,
Right.
who the speeders were, what time it happens, and things like that. It's not a massive priority, and it's a seasonal thing as well. It just, as soon as the weather gets nice, that traffic picks up considerably.
Yeah, something we can certainly put on the radar as we get the trends, and if we look at changing some of the locations of that, we could certainly entertain them.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll receive and file our speed analysis. And then move on to parking vehicles in driveway apron.
Right, thank you. Almost pulled up the wrong report. Okay, so again, thank you very much. So this is the parking on driveway apron report completed for this month. Recommendation that no change be made to the existing bylaw as it relates to parking in the driveway aprons. The report researches and analyzes other municipalities in varying sizes to identify all aspects related to residential parking vehicles along the aprons of driveways and how that might relate to the Village of Point Edward. So when I looked at this, I looked at the methodology for the research, beginning with identifying similar size municipalities in villages and towns for the province. I trying to determine who had existing bylaws for parking, permit parking along aprons. Research was then extended to small and medium-sized municipalities up to approximately 50,000, just in order to obtain a broader set of comparable data. At present, no small municipality in the province of Ontario has a bylaw that explicitly permits parking on the driveway aprons that I could find in my research. Some larger municipalities, such as Pickering, have implemented such permissions with strict conditions in terms of the entirety of the roadway, sidewalk, and pedestrian safety. Key elements of the Pickering bylaw include driveway aprons that are defined as the hard surface, a portion on a boulevard leading to the driveway from the driveway to the sidewalk. Just more of a definition detail. The vehicles that may park along that boulevard
That's the driveway apron, the vehicle, there's specific, there's specific aspects that have to be followed with this. The the vehicle has to be operational, licensed, insured, running condition. The vehicle does not overhang the roadway or the sidewalk in any way. The vehicle is not parked on the grassy portion of the boulevard, and the parking may be parallel or perpendicular within the roadway apron itself, just depending on the size. Pickering implemented the change in April 24. Provide more reasonable parking options. Again, being a very large city, was one of the challenges they ran into. Recognizing the driveway aprons are already hard surfaces intended for vehicles, permit the parking, creating no new paved areas on the green space. That was one of the details. Otherwise, you would have everybody trying to pave their individual spaces to be able to do so. Ensuring the bylaw supported snow clearing operations and obstructed sidewalks to permit any encroachment on that. That's a big concern with us. And then clarifying that the bylaw, because prior to changes, residents often parked on the apron. They thought it was allowed, and there was no consistent enforcement that went with it. So city also created visual examples, legal versus illegal, which was a supporting aspect to be able to help. And then supporting details for these municipal decisions included considerations of the boulevard width, measuring the edge of the sidewalks to the roadways, adequate boulevard width to require vehicles to be able to not impede any traffic or create any damage for that vehicle or for municipality vehicles as well. Sightline considerations were also very important. Clear sightlines, as I said, no obstructions, and then allowing waste removal vehicles or snow removal vehicles to be able to operate within that case. So that was Pickering. Then I looked at, I realized with this, I did not include the converse. So there was Pickering was they did allow it, and then the one that specifically did not allow it was Barrie. Barrie specifically does not allow apron parking for, again, many of the same reasons that were identified right there. When I looked at a quick comparison between the two, so it did, Pickering did allow it. Barrie's bylaw said parking, boulevard parking is prohibited. No exemptions for any apron parking, and then no parking on or over a curb, and no parking within 1.5 meter entrance of the driveway, which does support our bylaw here within the village. It's something very, very similar to that. The Village of Point Edwards Boulevard analysis. So taking all this information from the research, I then started doing analysis of our individual boulevards throughout the village and doing some measurements. That one thing I did find, the data consistent, there's no standard boulevard width in the village, right? There's been multiple different sizes, even on the same street, there are multiple different sizes of boulevards within this. So again, a perfect example is Alfred Street. You've got some boulevards are a meter, some are almost 3. And then you can see as with the data there, 3 meters, 1.5, 2.5, 3, 1.9. The consistency can potentially be an issue. Then I started just to look at just the average size of residential vehicles to help support the decision. So when you're looking at it from compact cars to heavy duties, you can see the vehicle widths, they'll go from anywhere between 1.8 meters to 2.3 meters in terms of width. That's including the mirrors. And then the distances for the actual lengths could be 4 meters to 6+, depending on the size of the vehicle itself. So no municipality in Ontario requires aprons. There's no physical requirement according to that in Ontario. So key considerations in making the recommendation was significant variations in boulevard widths, which wouldn't allow equal access for people within the village to have that capability to park there. Driveway apron dimensions are not standardized, and enforcement challenges. That's we would run into a whole new level of enforcement challenges with that, with the potential of modifying our existing bylaw, which says you can't park within a certain distance of your driveway. So were there any questions?
No, I appreciate the information.
I like the old school message of this is, if we can't do it for everybody, then we're not going to do it at all. You know, it's like bringing food into your classroom and the teacher asks if you have enough for everybody, then put it away. So I find that interesting.
It's amazing.
On Alfred Street, there's a part at the end right near the trail where there's zero boulevard.
I know.
And
That's right. That's where the sidewalk comes in. You're
even
right.
people putting their recycles and their garbage out, they have to put it on the sidewalk or
Right.
on the street
Right.
because it's just the way that was set up.
Mhm.
And I know on St. Clair Street, the boulevard is very narrow.
Now it is, yes.
And when well, even back in the day, it
Mm.
always was, it was 2 passes of a lawnmower in front of my parents' house. I always knew I could do that quickly.
60 inches.
That was it. And when we redid it, I actually was gonna ask if we could shift the road and make the boulevard bigger.
Mm.
But my dad always hated cutting the boulevard, so he didn't want more grass there. So it's kind of a funny thing that, this reminded me of. I really appreciate the detail and the research that you put into this.
Thank you.
When we approve these minutes, that recommendation will stand and we
That's right.
can have that discussion if necessary at our council meeting.
I would suggest this is probably if you wish to bring out highlights of the meeting, this is one, because it was brought forward by the deputy mayor, so.
Yeah.
I think, it should be made clear at that meeting that the recommendation has been to leave it the way it is.
Because if they approve the minutes, they approve the recommendation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure that it's highlighted that what's there, but
Yeah, and I can read the recommendation that no changes be made to the existing bylaw as it relates to parking on driveway aprons, so that is clearly stated. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And so we move that recommendation then here. So I'll move that.
second it.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, and while you're sitting there, I see you have another item.
One more. All right, thank you. So this one is a review of McCray Park as a potential cost recovery avenue for the village. The recommendation is council or committee and council's direction is sought with regards to this. Report present findings and recommendations regarding the implementation of a rental fee structure for McCray Park ball diamond usage. Background behind the reason for this report, as at council's discretion, staff undertook an investigation into the feasibility of implementing cost recovery models at the rental of McCray Park during the spring, summer, and fall months. Historically, McCray has been used by several recurring local groups at no charge. Despite the municipality providing maintenance, groundkeeping, and general upkeep. The intent of this review was to determine whether comparable municipalities charge user fees for similar amenities, what these fees are, and what the potential revenues could be generated if Point Edward should adopt a similar model. Again, when I went through my research, I conducted a comprehensive review of all the municipalities within Lambton County. What I found was what I was looking for was whether there are specific formalized bylaws or policies which exist governing rental municipalities of the parks and the ball diamonds. Secondly, was the rental structure, anything hourly, daily, seasonal, league-based types of structures, as well as any additional conditions, inclusions that might be included in the rental agreements. Was there a pavilion? Was there parking lots? What else would be there? And the reason is that there's no stringent model. It's not like there's one ball diamond. Sometimes there's a ball diamond pavilion, a gazebo, a basketball, what have you. It all kind of falls into the same thing. So this research specifically was on ball diamonds that of comparable size, conditions, and the maintenance standards that we see here in Point Edward. So what I found, the review indicated that significant consistency across municipalities regarding fee-based for ball diamonds, and those consistencies were all municipalities surveyed charged rental fees for ball diamonds. Hourly rates typically ranged anywhere between $22.50 to $55. Now, again, those rates are for diamonds that are very similar to ours, no lights, and then other diamonds which are well lit and have they have deep clay.
Everybody charges more for lights
Correct.
because you gotta pay the bills.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yep. And then typically there was a 2-hour minimum booking that I had seen in terms of a generalization that was there, which again supports if you have leagues, they usually go 2-3 hours anyway. So it's many municipalities have a tiered pricing system. So daily, weekly, seasonal rates. They have reduced rates typically for minor. And then they combine pricing with facilities, as I mentioned, sometimes with pavilion or parking or what have you. When compared against ball diamonds of similar quality, maintenance levels, and public access, McCray fits squarely in the middle of or the above rates. So looking at this, understanding that we've never done this in the past, would be something new we would look at. And based on the data, it was recommended that we have a starting rate of $20 per hour with a minimum booking of 2 hours. Would be an appropriate introductory baseline for cost recovery for the village. Starting rental rate for leagues could be $50 a week, based on the observed averages using the periods of approximately 3 hours per week. Historically, scheduling patterns have indicated that leagues typically run between 20 and 24 weeks, resulting in a total seasonal rental of anywhere between $1,000 and $1,200 per league, as they are. Review of the previous usage schedule from last year identified about 340 hours of actual use on the diamond itself. That indicating that if we use the recommended cost or the recommended fees, municipality could get a maximum annual cost recovery of approximately $6,800. Key considerations when looking at this, in assessing the feasibility and the implementation of the fees, the number of things we should consider. Potential impact on the existing users. Introducing user fees may deter some bookings from some people from actually going through the proper booking process to be able to do it, which might reduce the actual historical levels that we have seen in terms of participation. Requirement of a formalized bylaw. So a bylaw that will require defining the roles, responsibilities for both the municipality and the user, outlining terms of use, scheduling procedures, payment recommendations, and then establishing consequence for noncompliance. Again, look into the third one, which then comes to the enforcement of the considerations.
So just a quick question while you're on there.
Mhm.
Do we not already have some form of a template for that with arena rental and bookings? So we're already renting facilities. Is there not an existing template?
I have not seen one. Typically, what's happened in the last couple of years, it may be available, but is there
There's a rental agreement for arena users.
for the arena, not for the ball diamond?
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I'm
that's-
saying. I'm
oh,
saying like,
yeah.
it's like a template that we'd already maybe have existing.
I've not seen one for ball.
Yeah,
Have I?
but just to use the
Like,
arena
use
as
the
a
arena.
reference.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Surprised
So-
because
As a reference.
I
to
thought
say,
we had a ball one because you're making agreements to have certain nights for certain groups. Yeah,
Was there one?
We had to book and.
Okay,
they had a set night and
perfect.
everything.
In the last 2 years, I've received emails of which I've gone online and put it into the Google Calendar. And that
Okay.
has been I've not seen
Okay.
any formalized, but
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
gotta think any of the long-term users would have had something, either it was, even if it's a $0 contract or a
Oh.
$1 contract or
Yeah.
something saying that so that I can't just show up on a Thursday night or
Right, 'cause
whatever and
it's
say,
full.
oh, show me your paperwork because me and my kids want to play.
Yeah.
So I've created a
Okay.
template
Oh,
to
good.
support this, but as far as I've not seen one. In
Okay.
the
Okay.
2 years I've been here, I've not been able to formally see it. Typically, it's an email. In fact, I've received a number of emails for user groups to date. I have not reported back to them as yet because I knew this was coming up as a
Okay.
topic of discussion, so
Yeah.
that we could move forward with that. So, but thank you. No, that's good. As I was saying, the enforcement consideration. So McCray Park remains a public access space. Introducing formal rental would require clear signage, defined enforcement procedures, as well as staff oversight to ensure compliance or bookings potentially, as it came down to that, and support the bylaw. This would be critical to avoid conflicts within the not that any would arise, but you never know. It's one of these scenarios to consider. Conclusion, the research clearly demonstrates that rental fees for a municipality maintaining ball diamonds is standard practice with the county. Implementing structured bylaw support rental at McCray Park would also provide a reasonable and defensible means of achieving partial cost recovery for the operations and the maintenance within it. A starting value of, again, $20 for 2 hours. It's both competitive and justified based on regional comparators. While user participation may fluctuate in the long term, would establish a fair and accountable system and align with other municipal best practices that I've seen. So, any questions?
Oh, I'm actually totally surprised that we're the only one not charging. So it's probably one of the reasons we've been popular for booking, because a lot of the groups that come in aren't from the village. And as far as we have no minor right now,
Right.
so as far as any preferential rates, we don't have a minor
Right.
in baseball.
Right.
So that wouldn't be a consideration at this time.
Before I go on to the soccer thing, if we did lose groups, we would gain new groups. I guarantee there's lurkers waiting
Yeah.
for something to open up at McCray Park.
Yeah,
Because if you've been to, I've been a baseball guy all my life,
That's
and
right.
I have a very good frame of reference of what facilities are available.
Mhm.
And one of the things, especially for an adult league, we have very good parking. Park and walk 5 miles to your ball
Yeah.
diamond, like some of the big facilities
Yes.
that have multiple.
Mhm.
So that would be one of those ideas that I guarantee someone's waiting for a night to open up at McCray Park in Point Edward.
Mhm.
And then again, the location of it as far as what are we doing after, which I think is beneficial to our businesses.
Absolutely.
And that's why I like the adult leagues, because they might go down the road and have a bite or a drink and stay in the village.
Mhm.
Or while dad's playing his 2-pitch game, we're gonna walk down and get an ice cream cone.
Right.
You know, things like that, I just think are beneficial to having the ball diamonds. And I think us being the only ones who aren't charging is kind of an omission that we've kind of left, that we could have generated some income.
Mhm.
But I already have an idea, if we do this, where I would like to spend the income is possibly having a permanent fence in the outfield so that we don't have to assemble a snow fence, and then advertising on your outfield fence
Mhm.
to generate more income again. I think about things like that.
Sure.
But I would like to see us continue on this path to implement fees for the ball diamond. Which leads me to my next question, and I did
Yes.
give Mike a heads up on it, just, what about the soccer field and just some of the other facilities? Because I forwarded a fee structure from Warwick Township, because I always kind of go to them as far as someone who's a similar size, and I know their facilities well, and they had rentals for everything you could imagine. And prices for lunches at the arena or their community halls and things like that. It was very, very detailed.
Mhm.
So I was just curious if you've looked into more of that.
I have. No, it's when I started the whole process in terms of research, I literally looked at every rec facility. We focused on ball because I know that was the initial one that we discussed. And I was able to put a lot of meat on the bone for that. But with the rest of the facilities, yes, I did do a breakdown of all. If I go to, where is it here? So I've got, I did ball diamonds, I did tennis courts, basketball courts, park green spaces, and then soccer as well for all three of them. They range. There's so now with baseball or with the ball diamond, it was pretty standardized right across the board. Tennis courts completely ranged. Only a couple of the municipalities actually even considered doing any rentals with them. Basketball courts the same. Almost no one did anything specific unless it was tied into a larger park facility. Green spaces, most places do have a very stringent pricing structure, much like we do. If people are looking to rent waterfront, we have a structure for that space. And then soccer was one of those areas where it was 4 municipalities that actually had fee structures implemented within it. And then the rest were all over. Some were reserved, some were not. It was play as use. So I can further break down, much as I did with the ball diamonds. I think we're going to run into the same key considerations with it: bylaws, fee structures, implementation, enforcement. Those would be the bigger challenges we run into. Being that our soccer field is located at Waterfront Park, we may need to look at the entire park as a whole to say this area is part of the $1,000 rental or whatever the fee is for that, and then this portion over here is the rental for the soccer, which has been used for football as well, has been used for a number of different.
our soccer is Point Edward Minor.
Correct. Yes,
And that's okay, but my intention with that was to, if Sarnia girls soccer had a team and said, hey, let's take our location somewhere else. Let's look, oh, there's a Saturday, there's a Sunday, and then you can book it, pay whatever the fee is that we work on, or Sarnia FC or SMA football or any of those groups that need just a little bit of space.
I to date have not had anyone ever reach out about usage of that space. I don't know if they've just gone and used it because it is a public space at this point, but I've not received any interest in terms of outside of Point Edward Minor.
We did kick a personal trainer off one day when my kids were playing soccer. He had all his resistance bands and stuff on the
Oh.
soccer nets and come up and like, hey, we got a soccer game here. Because people just use that empty space because they assume it's Wild West rules.
Right.
Just show up and take it.
So I can further dive into what I did with with the ball diamonds with all the rest of the facilities, if that's and I can bring back to next month's committee in terms of.
I just think about the athletics
Mhm.
because I know, again, when I looked at that fee structure for Warwick Township, it was very detailed. I don't want to go that far. However, in Canterra Park,
Mhm.
you can rent a picnic area and book that if you're having a big event. So I don't know if we want to look at our picnic areas, if we have anything specific. We don't have to go that far, but I'm
Right.
just, while you're
For sure.
at
Yeah,
it.
I can.
And then I've been at the Point Edward Ex-Servicemen's Club family picnic, and they have it at Canatara Park in Sarnia. And I asked the question, why do you have a Point Edward Ex-Servicemen's Club picnic here in Sarnia? And I realize it's probably the distance is just as close to go to the
Well,
waterfront
and then
park.
They have barbecues and things, so
They
we
do.
haven't set anything up like that here.
And then could we allow propane barbecues? I realize that's a fire issue. Just trying to look into some of things like that.
We just put that bylaw.
We just
in.
put the signs up saying no barbecues.
Yeah, because again, my dad had a trailer, so
Yeah.
he was part of the service club, and they
Mhm.
would load up the trailer with a
Mhm.
generator, a freezer, a barbecue with propane tank. And they would do hot dogs for the kids, ice cream, and all the, picnic day races and things like that. And that was my question always is, why don't they run that in Point Edward? And they said they couldn't. So just something to think about. And I realize there's a lot more to it. And this isn't a this year
No.
thing, just kind of food for
For sure.
thought.
No, absolutely.
And then in Sarnia, like they book out the spaces at Canatera. And a couple of years ago, they added insurance.
Mhm.
So the insurance, like I used to book my family spot, it went up like almost $100.
Mm.
Because you have to pay insurance as well on that site for that day.
Mhm.
So it jacked up the price.
Yeah, and we may get to the point where it's just not worth it. It's not worth it, and again, it's always, okay, we're gonna do this, but how do we enforce it? That's
Mhm.
always,
Yeah.
What you run into. And
That seems to be the key, the most repetitive detail that I found in any of the research was the enforcement, and then just how does the bylaw support exactly what you're looking at in terms of the procedures and policies.
mhm.
I think with Waterfront Park specifically, in terms of picnic areas, it's always been the feeling they want the community to be able to come and go.
Free
as they
space.
please, And
Mhm.
and it's free space, and like it's the rental of Waterfront Park is priced to
Actually,
encourage people not to
Yeah.
rent it.
Mhm.
Because in the past, you've wanted to maintain the public access to it, the council.
Yeah.
That's where they've gone, so.
Do we look at raising that price? Because I know what it is, and I've been on council for, this is my 12th year, we've never raised that price. So
Yeah.
now with
Yeah, but
inflation,
we
that's
only
maybe
book it.
not cost
we're lucky
prohibitive.
if we book it once a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, if that's,
If we're trying,
if
like,
we,
you're right, it's been $1,000 for at least 15 years.
Mhm.
Is it gonna get to the point where people might start, I mean, the only times that place has ever been rented is Bridge Bash.
Mhm.
And the only other time I can remember is the Carpenters group did a
Yeah,
thing down there.
they built
for
the little
3
house.
days.
Yep.
Those are the only times I ever can remember it being rented, but, and we might get a request every year.
Mhm.
Is it possible we get lots of requests about booking the pavilion for the water park, for the splash pad,
Mhm.
and they're just told, no, you can't, it's first come, first serve, and that, but yes, if the desire is to continue to maintain it for public space and not rental, then maybe we should look at, like, we don't really want to, we've never really wanted to rent it out anyway.
Mhm.
So if the price is getting to a point where we might start getting people willing to pay that, maybe we do need to jack
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
price up.
just
I see what you're-
again, just thinking here with this stuff, and then I know we've talked a little bit about, sponsorship naming fees, and could we have more of that possibility where you generate more revenue? You know, just baseball right now, it's, you know, TD Stadium where the Blue Jays are doing their spring training and everything's got a name plus the sponsor.
Mhm.
The curling Briar was at a building that was sponsored by it, but the event had another nickname sponsored by another restaurant or
Mhm.
food place. And it was, I think it's hilarious, but if it generates revenue,
Well, personally, that's not revenue I want in my little community, but others may feel totally different.
yeah, but for years, there was always a person on this group before my time that never wanted ads on the boards,
I know,
and everybody's got it.
I don't like ads on the board.
I like it because
I
as a
think it-
goalie, it gives me
blight.
a line for my ankles.
I just find it blight. But I knew I had to move with the times and that's fine. Everybody else wanted it, but I personally don't like it.
But I just look at, you know, like some of those things where even there's ads on goalposts in the East Coast Hockey League, and I'm not saying we're going to go that far, but it's revenue. European hockey's done it for years. Like there's a different patch on
Helmets everywhere.
every single thing. Like I took a picture of my son on the ice, and he's got different patches of sponsors that were a naming sponsor for Sarnia hockey. So it is the sign of the times, and if we can find methods to generate a little more revenue, it might be worth exploring.
Mhm. Yep.
Without losing a name, because I know the soccer fields at Lottie Neely Park, it was going to be Veterans
Mhm.
Park, and then members of Lottie Neely's family said, "Whoa, hey, we're not dropping that name."
Yeah.
And now
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Lottie Neely Park with Veterans Fields.
Yeah. Veteran field, I love it.
Norm
Mhm.
Perry Park is got turf because of the Alex Foundation. So it's Alex Field at Norm Perry
Mhm.
Park. Like it's
Mhm.
just all those things are happening now, and they're subtle
Mhm.
endorsements, but it's a good way to have some revenue anyhow. Again, just
No, thank you. No,
food for
it's-
thought. There's no
it's-
timeline, just something to consider. And I know Derek and I have had the conversation too, and just about trying to make the arena more revenue neutral.
It's the conversation. I know Derek and Jim and I have spoken about this, and just trying to find the proper personnel to be able to put that together. It's I know it's something that's a little bit outside of my strength and expertise in regards to that. And as Derek and I have discussed, we both don't we can I can put the structures together, but to go out and actually be able to provide the sales aspect or the understanding of what that would look like, I think we would look at a consultant of something along those lines to help support us to give us kind of the right size to
Mhm.
support everything you're saying.
And Bev, I hear you loud and clear,
Yeah.
and I do understand
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying too. I grew up in that arena. I was
Yeah.
a toddler following my dad around when he refereed hockey and just sat there, watched him, and I don't want it. I don't
Right.
use the
Yeah.
correct
Yes.
terminology,
Yeah, I know.
but you
I
know,
know where-
there's a tradition
They
there of
make money,
having
but
our
it's just
old
like-
arena,
Right.
but there's possibly some
There's a way to write
avenues.
something, for sure. Yeah.
Because I know in a lot of the small town rinks that I go to, there's ads all up
Mhm.
the wall,
Mhm.
ads on the railings. You know, you gotta stick your foot forward and you kick a board, and you know, I think there is opportunities there, but with some dignity.
So as far as if you choose to go forward with McCray Park, I'm thinking it's not this year
No,
because registration's already taken place.
Yes, that would be my.
So they wouldn't be
suggestion.
able to embed the costs.
Correct. I think it's a little too tight in my personal
Yeah,
opinion, it's too
and I
tight
know
of a timeline
soccer-
to be able to.
Soccer already had its registration. We
Yeah.
haven't committed to that, but they've already
Yes.
done registration.
yeah, I don't want to jump anybody and say, oh, by the way, we're tacking on.
Yeah,
an
well, not
extra,
when-
but, yeah,
With
I-
hockey, we gave consideration for them to be able
Mhm.
to let their teams know
Yeah.
prior to signing up, so.
Mhm.
yeah, and we have to respect the
Yeah.
seasons and that.
Yeah,
but-
but they might have to change their admin fees.
I would absolutely like to go ahead with implementing fees, because I just look at that park after. I drive by it every day, and if there's a ball team playing, you know, there's cigarette butts everywhere around that park, and I'm sure our guys.
It's a cleanup strategy for sure. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful to have the summer students to help us support that because that
Yeah.
is something that,
Yeah.
that they're tasked with.
Fits in well.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you for that. Is there any other new business?
No, so just to be clear on where we're going with this report. You want us to implement a fee at McCray Park starting in 2027. And do further investigation about renting out soccer pitch.
Yeah, to separate the soccer field from the waterfront park
Okay.
as a separate rental.
Okay,
And that way, if, you know, a football team or a soccer team from outside of the village wants to use it, or even if a group wants to run a tournament. Because there was a time that Sarnia FC ran the Water's Edge tournament
Mhm.
when they had the fields on the Federal Bridge property. And it was
Yeah.
packed down there.
Well, that's because the manager was on the board of soccer.
But even if someone's running a tournament, needs an extra field and
One book talked about now.
They can't. Oh, you mean the Point Edward one?
yeah,
I don't-
me saying, I know someone.
We have soccer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wife.
there's soccer every night of the week.
Start now, but she can't get up to Sarnia.
Yeah,
Girls field.
Yes. So,
Liz Page must know.
so Liz texted me with the schedule and indicating that there's specific nights that she needs it. And then our staff does support their program by lining the field for them once every couple of weeks, of which they supply the
Yeah.
materials to do so. There's again, no formalized documentation, which I would like to create
yeah.
at some point, just to at least have the legal component behind us to say this is the dates, these are the times. So if somebody had a piece of paper and someone was on there, no, this is our night to be able to
Right.
do this. And
just so we know that someone's using our field.
correct.
And for the purpose of soccer.
Yep.
it's every night of the week, I
Yeah,
think,
It's a lot of weekends open.
with the
And
league.
that's what
though.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, and even, you know, if. I know the sport parent mentality of an early morning even, you know, to before school or an early morning during the summer when the kids are off school. Because Point Edward soccer is 5 PM on, right, or 6 PM on. So that field does sit empty during the day. Even if you've got half your team and you want to work on something, you know, you could gather there.
Mhm.
But at least to know that you have it rented. And that somebody's not gonna be, you know, flying a kite or something in the middle of your field.
As well as to have if we're having formalized rentals, I know that the Point Edward does a great job in terms of the insurance and all the details. And so they're very well organized, and it's been an ongoing thing for a long time. So it's wonderful to support and help with that. But I can see how we could utilize that model too.
Yeah, and they get first priority, 100%. Like when it comes to our arena, our soccer field, if they ever decided they wanted to run a ball program, they get first dibs.
We had ball in the past. It's waned. It's been up and down. Baseball was big, soccer was small. Now it's all soccer and there's no baseball in our minor.
Yes.
Before your time, just a little tidbit. So the building across from Environmental Services, the little brick building, that was built for tournaments for soccer
No.
by the Blue Water Bridge, and then they closed all the fields.
Hmm.
So that building is still there. You can, they could bring up the pop and all that stuff and serve it from the front and everything, and they had storage. And it's,
I believe there's a washroom in there too, isn't there?
yeah,
Yeah.
they
And
put that all
they
in.
put that in there because there was gonna be
And
people
They
on the
had,
field.
they had both sides as fields,
Mhm.
and then they shut it all down.
Wonder if it's winterized.
I-
And we talk about
I don't know.
people needing washrooms walking on the trail.
I never
and
thought
it'd be
of that
something to
before.
bring up at one of your meetings with the Bridge Authority.
Actually, it wasn't the bridge that closed it down. It was the soccer league itself,
Yeah.
is what I'm told, is they moved to Sarnia somewhere.
Yeah, Jermaine Park revamped all their fields
Yeah,
for them.
And so they
because
pulled out of the
Mhm.
waterfront.
It was sort of a power struggle there. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
unhappy with the facilities and how they were being
After they
maintained.
built that building for
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
I know there's another group that if you ever go behind the Baptist church out
Mhm.
by Walmart
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
Gallaudet,
yeah.
He
Gallaudet,
has
that
just
area.
made that into a beautiful
Yeah,
pitch.
that's very nice.
And
And then further down behind the gymnastics as well. That's
yeah, and that's the Sarnia Girls
That's the-
facilities, and they did their own thing for the same reason. Okay. So we're good for new business?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to our review of financial statements. Was there anything
I had nothing
in
to
there? Yeah, I didn't see anything
question
that
at this time,
jumped out at me.
early days.
Right.
Yeah. Our next meeting date is April the 14th. 10 a.m. and I'll move for adjournment.
Seconded.
Thank you very much.